The rocket has landed in Columbia, South Carolina, as the Gamecocks get their RB1. The huge news this morning, Rocket Sanders, the Arkansas transfer, committing to South Carolina. And guys, you look back at his numbers, and we talked about it on a side note about this transfer portal cycle and how pivotal it was for Shane Beamer and for South Carolina, not just to replenish what they had lost in the portal, right? It got off to a really rough start. You've got 17 or 18 guys that have entered the portal. Juice Wells is gone. Then Mario Anderson leaves. Gamecock Nation is scrambling around like, are they even going to be able to field a team next year? And we knew that Shane Beamer needed some needle movers, right? It's one thing to get bodies. It's one thing to just get some guys. It's another to get a certified dude. It's another to get a dude with SEC experience and all SEC experience. That is exactly what the Gamecocks have gotten in Rocket Sanders, guys. You look at his numbers in Fayetteville in 3 seasons. His second year was the year that he really popped, guys. 222 carries. Again, this was back in 2022. 222 carries, 1,443 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6.5 yards per carry. As I said it this morning on social media, guys, when Rocket Sanders is healthy, he's one of the best running backs in the SEC. I specify when he's healthy because this past season, injuries were a problem for him. 62 carries for 209 yards, 3.4 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Certainly not the season that Razorback fans were expecting. The good news is there's a lot of time before the 2024 season. There's a lot of time for him to get healthy and get up to full speed. But again, guys, in 3 seasons, 398 carries, 2,230 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, and 17 total touchdowns to his credit. Guys, he can also catch the football out of the backfield. Again, in that all-SEC season back in 2022, he had 28 catches for 271 yards, 9.7 yards per catch, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So, guys, you got a back that can really do it all. He's got explosiveness. He's physical. Again, he's an all-SEC caliber player. This was the type of portal land that Shane Beamer needed, right? This was the type of portal get that the Gamecocks had to have. This was the get that I don't really know, guys. I don't think they got last year, right? I mean, I know that Arkansas, supplied Trey Knox, right? You got Trey Knox, the tight end, but he wasn't an all-SEC guy, right? Like, you didn't get those game changers. You didn't get those needle movers, certainly. Rocket Sanders, because he's a name, because he has SEC experience, because he's had legitimate success in the SEC. This is exactly what we said South Carolina had to have. Guys, I also reached out to some of my Arkansas buddies this morning, asked them, said, hey, what can you tell me about Rocket Sanders? What's your opinions on Rocket Sanders, the type of player he is, and he was in Fayetteville, and what South Carolina is getting? My good friend John Neighbors of Locked on Razorbacks had this to say. Speed, size, and strength are elite. Played wide receiver in high school, so great hands out of the backfield. Does have issues staying healthy, and field vision has lacked at times. Overall, though, when he's healthy, he's as good as any running back in the country. Our friend Ty Richardson over at ESPN Arkansas, he had this to say. If he's healthy, right? They mentioned his health because he was hurt all year, but if he's healthy, guy is an all-SEC back. Put on too much weight on this offseason, probably needs to slim up a little bit, okay? Also said it might help South Carolina if they want to land KJ Jefferson. Again, these are 2 guys who watched every snap of Rocket Sanders' career to this point. Guys, the bottom line is this. The Gamecocks, without a doubt, got an all-SEC caliber running back. And again, this was the needle mover that Shane Beamer and company had to have. Again, it's one thing to land guys, to get guys. It's another to get a certified dude at the position. And we talked about it all last offseason, during the season, right? Montario Hardesty, his seat, all of a sudden, has his seat cooled off? I mean, at this point, guys, after you pick up Rocket Sanders and Oscar Attaway, and you've got Matthew Fuller coming in, and you've got Dontavius Braswell returning, maybe Montario Hardesty isn't going anywhere. Just maybe. Just maybe. This certainly throws a wrinkle into that conversation, no doubt. A different dynamic, if you will. But again, guys, I've been able to over the last couple of years. Obviously, we saw him in 2022 against South Carolina. But I've been able to watch a little bit of Rocket Sanders over the last couple of years. And I mean, again, guys, when he's healthy and assuming he will be healthy, it's a big time back, man. I mean, this is the best running back South Carolina's had in a little while, right? I'm not going to start going through the roster year by year and comparing every single running back, but you've got a legitimate RB1 now. You got a legitimate RB1. There will be no question who RB1 is. And as many of you will point out, and I will point this out as well, guys, now it's about handling the trenches. Whether you believe the guys you're bringing back are going to be that much better, whether you believe the quote-unquote Great Wall of Carolina is going to be assembled and they can pave the way, whether you think you got to go out and get 3 or 4 guys out of the portal, you've got to make sure you take care of the trenches. Because as I just said a couple days ago, and I stand by it, guys, getting Rocket Sanders is awesome. Getting Oscar Attaway for South Carolina is awesome. Getting Jaden McGowan, whoever you pick up on the offensive side, it's great. But if you a cautious optimism. But here's the good news, guys. Here's the good news. The offensive line doesn't have to be elite. If the offensive line is just serviceable, you got a guy in Rocket Sanders that's an all-SEC caliber player. You've got a truly legitimate all-SEC caliber guy in that backfield. Again, he's got speed, he's got vision, he's got size, he's got toughness, he's got quickness. He can catch the football out of the backfield so he can be a weapon and a threat in the passing game. He's everything you could want in a starting running back and more. And it seems like overnight, you could argue, South Carolina has completely flipped their running back room. Certainly from what it was going into 2023, when Dakereon Joyner had to step in and be RB1, Juju McDowell as your backup. The running back room is in a much, much, much different place now. And I know that's something that South Carolina fans are happy to see. So again, Gamecocks getting Rocket Sanders, guys, is a big time pickup. This was the needle mover that Shane Beamer needed to have. He had to have, right? Getting a difference maker, a true, legitimate game changer at the running back position. And it should lead to big things, guys, especially if that offensive line can come together. If the big uglies up front, if they can make the improvement necessary from 2023 to 2024, you now give Lenoris Sellers a bit of a safety net, a security blanket to have a running game, right? Because a young quarterback, especially, but a quarterback's best friend is a solid running game. All of a sudden, you bring that into play, and now you got a real-time, legitimate, big-time dude who can carry the rock for you.